You know, a few years ago, I was meeting at a bagel shop with some other pastors and friends of mine, some dear friends of mine. And it was crowded that morning, and there was people coming and going, during the normal restaurant kind of rush hour. And I noticed a homeless man walked in, and he went straight over to the coffee bar, because at this particular place, the coffee was just sitting out, and he poured himself a cup of coffee in a paper cup, and he went over and sat down. Now, from my years of working with the homeless, I realized that one of the things the homeless do is they'll come into a coffee shop and just sit in there to get warm. They spent the night out in the cold and on concrete often, and so just a chance to get warm, drink a cup of coffee, and kind of shake off the night's cold loneliness is important to them. As I sat there and I watched him just sitting there, I thought to myself, I wonder if he's hungry. So I left the meeting or the conversation and I walked over to see him, and I said, I bent over and I said, are you hungry? Is there anything I can do for you? I'd love to buy you a sandwich. And he said, no, I'm fine. He's obviously not fine. But yet, he was pushing away an act of empathy and generosity to him. So I pressed a little further and I said, can I buy you something? One of my favorite sandwiches is this great sandwich that's got bacon and eggs and everything. Can I buy that for you? And he waited for a few minutes. I said, come on, it's my treat. And he goes, fine. So I went over and I got him the bacon and egg bagel sandwich, and I brought it back to him. And I also paid for the coffee because I noticed that he had actually stole the coffee. And I set it down for him, and I said, I hope you enjoy this. God bless you. And I went back to my friends and sat down with them. They didn't even seem to notice that I had left, and as the time went by in our conversations, every once in a while I'd glance back and to see if he was enjoying his sandwich or he gave any kind of acknowledgement. But when I glanced back, he was gone. He had grabbed his sandwich and he grabbed his cup of coffee, just leaving the little plastic tray there, and he walked away. And I said, okay, well, I hope you enjoyed it. And I just went on with the conversation. Well, time passed and our little meeting broke up, and when it broke up, I was starting to head out the door, and through the corner of my eye, I see this woman coming at me, and she's finely dressed. Clearly, she's some kind of business professional. And she says, sir, trying to get my attention. And I said, yes? She said, I saw what you did. What? Really? I wasn't really sure whether this was going to go well or not. She said, I saw what you did with that homeless guy. And I said, I don't know what you mean. And she said, well, you went out of your way, just quietly, to go buy him a sandwich and a cup of coffee. And I just want you to know that I saw it, and I really, really appreciate it. Well, I shook her hand warmly, and I said, well, thank you. And I walked away. And I thought to myself, that's odd. What is God doing? Why that encounter? And I got across the parking lot, and I sat down in my car, and I just kind of asked the Lord quietly in my car, what was that all about? And then it came to me, you know what? That act of generosity, that simple little thing that I think most of you might do if you're just paying attention, that simple act of generosity was not for the homeless guy, though he did benefit from it. It was for that woman, for her to see and to be moved towards generosity herself. Now, I also recognize something else. In a way, what she was doing was celebrating that act of generosity. She was celebrating what God had done right before her eyes. And that's why she came over and said thank you to me. She was celebrating it. And I think that's key for each of us to understand. So not only is generosity about giving a breakfast sandwich to someone, It's also about allowing others, in a very organic and natural way, allowing others to see that movement of generosity, that act of generosity, that act of caring for people around you. And it changes our world just a little bit. And one of the things we need to do as believers is to celebrate that. When we see someone be generous, even in little things or great things, we need to celebrate that by thanking them, by appreciating them. Pastors, I say bring them up on the stage and say thank you for the work you do. Because celebration becomes a catalyst for others to be generous. Celebration changes the world just a little bit.